going to be a very, very long video. Make sure you have a drink and snack handy, because
apparently I have opinions today.
Well, hello my lovely nestlings, and welcome to another Best of Beauty from Trash to Treasure. This is a recurring series on my channel every month where I go over all the products that I used in the previous month that I have opinions on, and I'm going to put them in a tier style system. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Nikki. I'm 46 from the Netherlands, hence the accent. And if you love to chat about makeup, if you want to know what is good and what you should just leave alone, then this is the channel for you. Subscribe now, become part of my nestlings, because we are having a blast here on the internet. Yes. Okay, the Best of Beauty. Let me explain the tier style system first. It's not in a ranking per se, but products can be kind of ranked a little bit in the tiers themselves, if that makes any sense. It's kind of gradual. Yes, let me explain the tiers. So the first tier that we have is the tier called Oh Hell No. Self-explanatory, right? These are my fails of the month. These are products that
Run away screaming the other way if you see them in stores.
You know, that kind of thing. Then the next tier is Meh. And in that category are products that are okay. They function, they are okay, but it's nothing that exciting. You don't have to go running out to get them. But if you see them, it doesn't really hurt that much if you throw it in your cart. You know, those kind of things. And then we have
the Twilight Zone.
And in the Twilight Zone are products that are good products. And that's kind of it. So they are good products, they function, they work, the quality is nice, but they are just good products. So they're in the Twilight Zone. Then we get the AMAZEBALLS category. And in the AMAZEBALLS, I have to say, it's mandatory. In that category are products that are very, very good. That I would definitely recommend. That if I run out of them, I really, really want to repurchase them. They are favorites. Yes. But because I'm extra, I have another tier on top of that. Which is that you have to pry it out of my cold, dead hands. Those are my absolute favorites. That I feel, I always say you don't need anything, but these are products that I need to have in my collection. And if I run out, or I don't know, I drop them and they shatter, I need another. Sometimes there are even products that I have backups of. Not necessarily right now, but yeah, so I don't know. Let's just, without further ado, let's just get into it. Let's start with the
Oh Hell No
category. And I have some. And yeah, while the products are not really ranked, they kind of have within the tier some I like more than others, you know. So I start in the tier with the product that I like least in that specific tier. So let's start with the product that was an absolute fail for me this month. That, oh Lord, I've never worked so hard to make a product work. Honestly, this is a foundation. I am an olive, and if you have a wonky undertone, you know how difficult it is to find correct foundation shades, right? So if I find out a new foundation that has kind of an olive, hint of olive in it, I want to try it. So when I actually heard my friend Debbie talk about this foundation, she got a sample of this and she liked it. I was like, oh,
it's an olive foundation. I'm going to try it as well.
Now, the brand does sell samples. They also sell samples here for me in Europe. But I was like, nah, it's on sale on Beauty Bay. I will just get the big one. I shouldn't have. I should just have gotten the samples, as I knew I should have when I saw that they had samples. And it's the Danessa Myricks Vision Cream Cover. You may think, but we have not seen a dedicated video on that. And you are correct. Maybe I should have done a dedicated video. I don't know, but I didn't, because it was an older foundation. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't know if it's relevant, if anyone wants to see it. Honestly though, I have never worked so hard for a foundation in my entire life. The first time that I tried it, I just used a pump. That was such a fail, because it's extremely full coverage. If you think of a full coverage foundation, this is even more full coverage than you would think a full coverage foundation is. It was insane. And it looked cakey, which is not really weird now, is it? So yeah, I started basically checking how I should use the foundation. They say that you need to use a very, very little amount, just a dot. And then I'm like, if I need a dot, why don't you make sure that one pump is the dot that I need? Instead of giving me the option to use a full pump, but I only need to do that and then, you know. It's also a very thick foundation. So I was like, okay, so I kind of need to see this more as a mixer then. Fine. So I read, okay, you can mix it with something that is silicone, with wax, with oil. I was like, okay, fine. Let me try what they are saying, just a minimum amount. Now, I cannot spread that out. It just does not work. So I was like, okay, let me then use an oil underneath to help with spreadability. I used the primer oil underneath that I use often, and it kind of worked, but it was splotchy. That means that I just need a little bit more than what they recommended. And if I were to dot it on, I did not have time to work with it. So I was like, okay, well, that doesn't work. Let me then mix it. Mixed it with oil. That actually worked, and it actually looked very nice. It was very easy to work with. It, you know, it spread around evenly, and it looked very nice. Then I put my cream products on top, and it was okay, but it kind of started lifting off a little bit, but okay, fine. And then I powdered. And I needed to powder because I could feel it sliding around. I powdered and it immediately clumped together. It did not even start breaking up, it clumped together. I tried this foundation for 2 weeks. Every which way I could think of, with all the powders that I have. No powder, no sunscreen underneath. And I always use a sunscreen underneath. And all the primers that I have, I tried. So I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to use this. The only thing that I can use this for is repressing eyeshadows, because the component is fits exactly into a 26 milliliter pan. So if you have this foundation and you can make it work, let me know. I tried it with a sponge, with a brush, with my fingers. Could not get it to work. It looked atrocious. The next product that I'm going to mention is, and it's from Catrice, it's the lash glue and eyeliner in one. You need to shake it up first and then apply a couple of coats and then stick the falsie on. And they say to immediately stick the falsie on. Well, if I immediately stick the falsie on, it doesn't want to stick because it needs a little bit of time to set. If I paint on the first layer, let that set a little bit and then paint on the next, I basically take everything off again. How I ultimately got it to work was put it on very thickly, let it set, glue my falsie with lash glue and then put it on. And then I still felt it was a little bit... Listen, I live at the Dutch coast, right? And there's always wind here, always. This does not feel secure enough for me. No. So when I can see myself using this is if I'm filming multiple looks back to back. And I always wear falsies with my looks. I always wear falsies if I'm doing makeup because I love wearing falsies. So then I can see myself using this because it's very easy to remove that. That's what I can see it for. Even if I were to have a party, I would be afraid that my falsie would stick up like that at the end of the evening. So for me, it doesn't have enough grip. Yes, that's it. For me, it doesn't have enough grip. The next product that I'm going to mention, and that's actually, I think, the last one. Yeah, it's not really a huge fail, the product itself. It's the color that is not for me. And it's one of the new colors from Catrice, their Slim'matic brow pencil. This is ash brown, but this color turns pink on me, which is kind of weird. Because when I think of an ash brown, I don't think of a pinker brown. They say cool toned. So, and I know that in foundation cool tones means pink. This for me, so if you are an olive or if you are warm toned in general, this will probably turn pink or maybe even peachy on you. For me it turned pink, so it made my brows look very weird, and that's why it's here. Color is a fail for me. Next I'm going to go to a product which is kind of on the cusp between oh hell no and meh. The product itself, it functions, but it's not giving me the feeling that I like. You know, and it is from X Revolution. It's their brow fix. Now, I recently tried this out in a video, but I have been trying it out a lot since then, And I know already how I feel about this. I know that this is not my favorite formula. Because at the end of the day, I am very much into the brow soaps right now. What's the best way for me to use this? The best way for me to use it before my foundation. The applicator is also weird, and I mentioned that then, but I have learned to work with it. So no foundation, and I work this in my brow, and then I brush my brow up, and I basically clean the excess off, and then I let it set completely before I put product in. But it makes my brow hairs feel crusty and hard, and I don't like that. There's just a certain, and I used to really like that because I felt like they were plastered to my head, but also it really does not do that enough for me. So at the end of the day, my brow hairs kind of stick up like that anyway, which is not what I go for. So for me, for my preferences right now, it doesn't cut it. When will you like this? I think that you will like this if you like brow gels. If you like the way that a brow gel feels is the way that this feels. If you have a clear brow gel that really sets. The next product is meh, and the reason that it's meh, it's an okay product. It's not my favorite, but I do have a very nice purpose for this, and that is the Revolution Prime and Lock Eye Primer. This is a pretty wet formula, and it is a little bit more, I almost want to say thicker, but it's not really. It's a kind of a concealer consistency. And if you like that, then you will probably like that. I don't really like that in my eyeshadow base. The consistency of a concealer, even though it's a wetter concealer, it feels too heavy. And it also creases like a mother effer. The color is nice though. But I don't really like it as a normal eyeshadow base. I do like it though if I am doing eye swatches. Because when I'm doing eye swatches, because it doesn't do anything else, it gives my eyelids the moisture that they crave right then, because I'm pestering them so much. So it gives them the moisture without irritating, because there's nothing really weird or fancy in here. So that is why I really do like this product for eye swatches. So that is why it's here. That's why it's working for me. If you are, if you like a concealer to use as an eyeshadow base, but you want to have a little bit more eyeshadow baseness, then you will like this. It's a big ass tube, so yeah, I will use this for my eye swatch. For eye swatches, yes. For makeup looks, no. Let's go to this. So the next product that I'm going to mention is an okay product, but it's very not exciting. That's not correct grammar, but it's not an exciting product at all. I don't think that I even use it the way it should be used, but for me it functions, and I won't use it often because I don't need it often. And it's a color corrector from AOA Studios, and this is in the yellow. I also have the blue, and I have two blues and I have two yellows. I really do like them as a mixing medium, but it's a primer. So at the end of the day, it's not a mixing medium. But I don't need a lot of pigment in my mixing mediums anyway. That's basically what I wanted to say. When do I use this? I use this when I have a foundation that's olive, but that's too cool toned for me. So if a foundation is, I have one from Lisa Eldridge, the shade 9, which is a neutral olive, and it's truly a neutral olive. It's too cool for me. So I use this to warm it up a little bit, and that works very, very well. So if I want to warm up or yellow up a foundation that is a neutral olive, this works. And that's how I use it. And then I need a little bit and I can warm it up and it works fine. But it's, at the end of the day, it's not an exciting product. That's why it's here, because I use it for something else and it's just not an exciting product. And there are more brands who have this, but this one is cheap and therefore I have it. Next is a product that is, again, it's an okay product, but it's a dime a dozen basically. And it's from Beauty Bay and it is their brow soap. I have it in my brow today. Yeah, I like it as a brow soap goes, but at the end of the day, it's a brow soap. And almost every brand has a brow soap. So if you want to try a brow soap and you're ordering from Beauty Bay anyway, go try it. If you want other drugstore options, Catrice has a brow soap, Makeup Revolution has a brow soap, and they work just fine. Hell, AliExpress has a brow soap that works fine as well. So there are a lot out there. You don't need a brow soap that is, I don't know, $50. You don't need it. So yeah, again, it's a nice brow soap, but it's not exciting. It functions. Yeah, that's why it's here. It was a gift with purchase, by the way. Next, I'm going to go to yeah, to this from Catrice. And the reason that this is here is because as a product goes, it's an okay, yeah, it's a nice product to use. And it's another Slim'matic brow pencil, and this is in the shade Espresso. So Espresso is a lot darker. I have that actually in my brows today again to kind of darken it up a little bit, but I can already see it's not as noticeable when I look in the mirror, but when I look in my viewfinder there and in my tablet that's below there, I can already see that it is a little bit more red than I prefer. And that's the downside between having a good foundation shade and a wonky undertone. And basically everything that's brown has a hint of red in it, apparently, which sucks because it just pulls it out more for me. So I do like this color, but I want to mix it with other colors that I have. Unfortunately, it's still not my perfect color. I'm on the hunt for my perfect brow pen color, brow pencil color. It's just not there. So that is it. It's an okay product. The color is okay, and that's why it's here in the meh. Yeah, hashtag hunt for a cool toned dark brow pencil. That's what preferably without any red in it. So yeah, next I'm going to go to
The Twilight Zone.
an eyeshadow primer again, and it's an okay product, and it's from Juvia's Place. It's their eye base. I've been wanting to try this eye base for a long time, and when my friend Debbie sent me my birthday box for my birthday month, this was included because I really wanted to try it. Now you really need to shake it up. It doesn't warp on me color-wise too much. It's a pretty liquidy formula, but it's also a very watery formula, I feel at least. So if I then tap it in, if I use my, now I don't really have long nails, but if I have my claws on, I cannot tap it really out with my fingers because I poke myself, you know. So if I then use a sponge, it soaks up the moisture, but it soaks also up the product again. So usually when I tap it out, I use a dry sponge, and sometimes I have to reapply it a little bit because what happens, because it's so thin, it sinks into all the tiny crevices that I have. And it then, maybe it's because I then because I haven't shaken it up, shaken. Because I didn't do this enough. Could be that. That it then really sinks into the lines and not really laying a nice complete surface over everything. The second part is that you really need to shake it up because otherwise it's just water that you basically get out. So that's that, you know, you really need to shake it up. I do feel that it helps with blendability, but not necessarily with buildability. The eyeshadow I want to use this with is an eyeshadow that's a little bit stickier and that just needs that extra help blending. That's when I want to use this. That's why it's here. It's an okay primer. It's not my favorite, but it's an okay primer. And also, I prefer a doe foot instead of a squeezy tube. But that is personal preference. Would I recommend this? Yeah, if you can find what you like in what I have told you, by all means go ahead and try it. But that's with everything, right? Because that is why I tell you why something does or does not work for me. Let's go to this. So the next product I'm going to mention is actually a pretty good product, or at least I feel. I really do like the formula. I like the way that it picks up on my brush. I like the pigmentation of it. It's just the color. That's why it's here. And it's the Revolution Cream, Ultra Cream Bronzer. And I have the shade Medium. Now, I really do like this product. I like how it works. I like the fact that I can very easily pick it up with a brush. That it's creamy enough to do that. That I can blend it out. And it sets, which I find extremely nice. The trouble is, though, that this color for me, bronzing-wise, no. It's basically too... I almost want to say too neutral. It has a little bit more, it has a little bit too much red in it, or pink maybe. In the video where I tried this out for the first time, I swatch all my cream bronzers side by side. It reminds me of the KKW, but the KKW is darker. And I almost want to say has a little bit more green in it, maybe even grey, I don't know. But for me, I can use this as a contour, so that's how I am using it. But I don't contour that often, so that's why it's here. If it had been a bronzer, a correct bronzer shade for me, I would have been using the crap out of it. I would then literally pan this. That's how much I love the formula, it's just the color. And I feel that if you are a neutral, I think you will like this. If you are cool, you will probably also like this, because then it's a little bit warmer, you know, because it goes to the neutral spectrum. If you're very warm, you won't like this. The one below this was even more cool toned, I felt at least. Maybe I need to try one up. Could be. It could be. If you have the shade Tan, let me know what kind of undertone that one has in your opinion, because I really do like the product. It's just the color makes it for me okay, because yes, I can use it as a contour and I can work with it very well, but I don't contour that often. Anymore, at least. Yes. So let's start now with the
AMAZEBALLS
category then. And the first product that I have in the AMAZEBALLS category is actually a primer. It is a poreless, it's the Perfector Poreless Blur Primer from Catrice, and it is new in stores here, and when I saw it I wanted to try it. I tried a lot of pore blurring primers and I actually did not like any of them until this one. This one does what it says. It blurs. For me it blurs without having a very silicone feel. It does have that slip, because I do like that slip that a silicone primer has. And there's also almost a powdery layer in here, or yeah, kind of a powderiness in here that makes this primer functions like the powder before foundation method. Well, this kind of gives me a similar feel, but it still gives me the slip as well to be able to put a foundation on top. Now, I don't like it with a foundation that already dries down for me, which for instance is the Lisa Eldridge foundation. The Lisa Eldridge foundation, I either want no primer underneath, but usually I kind of put an oil primer underneath because I need that extra time to work. If I have a foundation that's a little bit more emollient, yeah, a foundation that is a little bit wetter, so my Charlotte Tilbury or the Glam Shop, that is what I really like to use with this one. But as a pore blurring primer goes, it really works. So that is why it's here. I actually don't know if there's silicone in here. Can I see that really quickly? Can I? Can I read that? Yes, first ingredient is the methicone. So if you are allergic to silicones, then this doesn't work for you. But I don't know, I feel that this is different than the silicone primers that I'm used to, if that makes any sense at all. I really do like it. The next product in the AMAZEBALLS is a product that I love. The formula of this I love so much, but it is not my favorite formula anymore because it kind of has been dethroned, and that is why it's here. It's from Lethal and it is their Gel Pot Eyeliner, and this is the shade Harmony. I think that the color is very cute, and I have used this already. I love the formula of this. I love that it's creamy. I love the fact that it is very pretty. It stays on all day. It's nice and opaque. I can put it in my waterline, but it is not as creamy as something that I'm going to mention a little bit later on. Out of all the gel pot eyeliners that I have tried, this and the other one that I'm going to mention are my favorite formulas. But the other formula, it's just for my personal preference, it's extremely creamy. And I like that. But if you do not, then you do not. I love that creaminess of the other liners that I will mention in just a little bit. Let's go next to something that I just grouped together as a collection. Because yeah, I basically just put the collection as a collection, and it's from Unearthly. It's the Sleepover Collection. Let's start with the thing that I will use the least, let's face it, and that's the eyeshadow palette. My collection is big. It's my job, and my collection is big. I do really like the formula of this though. Color story wise, it's not my favorite color story that I go for right now. Let me do it like that. Maybe, can you see the flip? No, you cannot. I have done a video that I will link down below where I use the complete collection and you can see it used. The pigmentation is very nice. The quality is extremely good. The shimmers did not crease for me. The mattes were very pigmented but still easy to work with. And you can also use this as a face palette if you want to, you know, blush and highlighter and that. So yeah, oh, this was PR by the way. Let's next go to the blushes, because I have two blushes. I have the shade Charmed and I have the shade Cherub. So let me hold them kind of like this. Let me see, how did I do that again? This is purple and this is pink. Can you kind of see that? So this one is more purple and this one is more pink. And it looks a lot bluer on camera. But I actually like this color the most on me, which is the more purpley one, and that's the shade Charmed. And you can buy everything separately or in a bundle, but the shade Charmed I will use more than the other one because I like the color just a little bit more, which I did not see coming because it's more purple. The quality is very nice. It's buildable, it's blendable. Yeah, I think it's a very nice formula and I really like how this is looking. Then we have here the Bow and Arrow highlighter, which is a stunning highlighter. This is almost more as a peachy gold, and it's just so extremely pretty. Let's put it on the nose because I can. Very shiny, very pretty, and I think that this is one that I will use quite often. Let's next go to the gloss that is in there. I think that the color is so pretty. I love her formula. I love her gloss formula. I think it's stunning. And it has one of these doe foods that I like as well. I think it's just a very pretty color, and it complements the whole collection extremely well. Let's go next to, this from Ace Beauté. This was actually a gift from my friend Darcy, and this is in the shade Manifest. I think that this shade is stunning. The component is stunning. The formula is, it's such a nice formula. It's such a nice formula. It reminds me a lot actually of the formula from Unearthly, her satin liquid lipsticks, but this one dries down more. And it's very thin. It feels very nice and comfortable on the lips. If you like the Unearthly formula, if you like the Kaleidos Lipclays, you will definitely like this. Let's next go to another eyeshadow palette, and it's from Natasha Denona, and it is her pastel palette. Now, I had so much fun with this palette. I did a multiple looks video, I did an eye swatch video. I think that the palette is very nice. If you don't like pastels, you will not like this palette. Just saying. And how to work with pastels. Pastels you kind of pack on a base that is as light as you can get away with to make them pop. You want a base that is sticky, that really grips the eyeshadow. You want to pack it on, and then if you want to blend, and I like blended looks, as you can see, blend the edges. If you want to know how to work with pastels in the correct manner, go watch my video that I did with this, because I show you exactly how to work with these shadows. And I had a lot of fun. The only shadow I want to bitch about is this one, which is a cream to powder, and unfortunately, and everyone that I know of at least had the same issue, I cannot get this through to pan, so that is a shame. But I think that her cream to powder formula is stunning. This shade stayed this shade on me, which is extremely rare. When I put a shade like this in my inner corner, me being an olive, usually it pulls yellow on me. Yeah, same with this type of shade. So that minty, it usually just, these two shades usually pull together very much for me, and they actually stayed very nicely and pretty true to color. So yeah, I think, and this just makes me happy to look at. What can I say? It's just, I don't know, it's a happy, nice, it's a nice, happy palette. What can I say? And I really like the quality of this as well. Next, I'm going to go to a product from Makeup Revolution that I have, that I'm loving a lot. It's a newer product. It's from their Super Duo line. It is their liquid highlighter in Pink Lights. I love this as a shimmer blush. It's kind of subtle though. So as a highlighter, as a liquid highlighter goes, it is a hint too subtle for what I like. Today I have one of the Super Shocks from Colourpop on. That is just a little bit more what I like. This though, as a shimmer blush, I love. I love the formula as well. Now, how do I use it? I actually just dot it on. I dot it on my face and then I blend it out. That's how I get the most shine, the most pigment. It dries down, so I don't have to powder it. And for me, my skin tone is a light to light medium. The closest foundation that I have on my face right now is the shade, where is it? Neutral Olive 160. Well, it's more along the lines of a warm. I don't have to warm it up, so it's on the warmer side of neutral. Maybe that's helpful. But it is, when I put it on, I'm like, it's kind of too light. But if I blend everything in, you know, and when everything is on, it's nice. But it is already kind of too light for me. Maybe that is helpful. We had some sunny days. I tan quickly, but I don't get tan. That's what I always say. If you are fair, you can use this as a shimmer blush. If you are light to medium, light to light medium, you can use it as a shimmer blush. If you are medium, I would say you need a blush underneath, I think, to really make the color pop a little bit more. Maybe it's then just a very subtle color. If you are darker than that, it's probably a blush topper. I don't even want to say that it's a highlighter. I think it's more of a blush topper, but I love this formula. I also love their blush formula of the same line. I just think it's a stunning product, but put it directly on your face and then blend it out. And for me, it doesn't lift off my foundation. It works very well. Yes. Next, I'm going to go to Kaleidos, and I basically just grouped some stuff together. So this is almost the entire what is it, Night Flower?
Smoky flower, flower smoky, flower smoke.
The new collection, you know the one I mean, right? It's almost the entire collection. The lippies, their Lipclays are stunning. I have the shade, what is it, Skinship on today, which is stunning. What I like about this line is that it is not pink. That's what I like about this line, that it is not pink. And honestly, I only wanted the 2 lighter ones, but at the end of the day, it was cheaper for me to get the entire bundle, the complete entire collection, instead of just picking some stuff. But the formula is amazing. And honestly, if you like the colors, you just go order, because they are just stunning, stunning truly. Next, I have a bunch of blushes here. The only thing I want to bitch about is that the names are not on the side. And I've actually mentioned this, I think, in my whole video. I wish that they would have printed the names in silver on the side. Like they have done, well, this is raised, but that they would have printed it on the side. So you can at least see very easily. You know, I think I'm just going to put stickers on. I don't know, I get why it's not on the back, but yeah, it kind of sucks that I don't have the name on it. And I know that if you don't have a YouTube channel, it doesn't matter, but it matters for me because I want to be able to tell you the shade I have on, right? So this is the shade Sanguine, which is the red. I think you can see it like this. It's such a stunning shade. Honestly, they did this entire collection extremely well. So that's the shade Sanguine. Let's next go to the shade Ecstasy. And I had all the blushes. I gave one away because it was way too blue and it would not work for me. So this is the shade, what did I say again? Ecstasy, which is very, it shows pink on camera, but it is not pink. And I'm kind of looking at my background, but I don't have anything in the same color. I would describe this as a peach, I think. Maybe a pinker side of peach. But it's a stunning color. It's just annoying that I cannot get the correct color on camera. Maybe if I hold it against the other one, which is called Sunburnt, which is an orangey one. Which basically almost, it's almost more like a neon-y orange. Maybe this will help if I put them together. No. Honestly, this shade, if I see this on camera, it's this shade in real life. And this is more orange. It's a very pretty shade, and the formula is so extremely nice. You can build them up, you can shear them out. If you use them with their brush, the one that they have a pretty dense brush. It works very well. It's very nice and pigmented. It's stunning. The formula is so nice. Honestly, if there's a color that you like, I would just go for it with the entire collection. Then I'm going to go to one of the eyeshadow palettes, and this is the, I don't know, the gray one. Mine looks messy, but that's because the shimmers are very soft and open, basically. So when they arrived, they had kind of done poof a little bit because of all the shaking. So I pressed them back in, but it's so extremely easy to work with. The shadows blend like a dream. It's one of the nicest blacks that I have in my collection. And this silver, usually I don't like silver shades on me that much, but this one, it's the perfect, almost the perfect color. It's silver, but it still has a hint of steel in it. So basically it's not a silver, it's more a steel. And it doesn't crease on me at all. I hear you saying, yeah, but you bought the entire collection, right? Yeah, I did. And the reason that this isn't higher is because of the color. Because of the, basically the gray, silver. It's not something, this palette is something that I will reach for on occasion. Yes. Next, I am going to go to the last thing that I have here in the AMAZEBALLS category. And the reason that it is not higher is because I don't know if of this particular product it is my favorite. Because it's the only one that I've tried so far. And it's from Death and Candy Cosmetics. It's their Liquid Life Gel Base. This is a gel medium. Right, and I have been using this as a shimmer primer and it works so well. I used it again today, but just on one eye because I want to see, because I'm also kind of wanting to know if the shadow creases that I have on my eyes, and I actually have the Earthy palette from Beauty Bay on. It makes a shadow behave like a liquid eyeshadow, you know, in the fact that you can basically feel it locking in. So how do I use this right now? I am a messy eyeshadow person, and that is good for me because that helps against creasing. So I basically build up my matte shadows first. I don't clean up my lid though. So what I do is usually I still have, if anything creases, it's there. Do you see that fold that I'm pushing up right now? That's where it's creasing. So I have matte shadow there then, still. Then I dip my brush in, I kind of pat it out on the back of my hand, or I put some on the back of my hand and dip my brush in. I can do that as well. So that I have coated my brush, but I don't have wet brush. I then tap it on my eye. I don't swipe. I tap it on my eye. And I kind of feel, do I need a little bit more or not? Sometimes you can kind of feel it. You don't want it wet, and you don't want that when you lift your brush off that your eyelid comes with it. You know, you want it a little bit more in between. So I tap it on. I kind of let it settle a little. And then I go into the shimmer shadow with my brush and I tap on the first layer. Yes, I said first layer. I tap on the first layer. Then I kind of let that set a little bit, and I do the same with my other eye. Then I go back to the first eye and I build up the shimmer more. So that it does not feel sticky anymore. And that works so well. Okay, let's next go to the last category, which is the, you have to pry it out of my cold, dead hands. Yes, these are my absolute favorites of the month. So let's start with a product that that is an extreme favorite. Unfortunately, I only have one and I need more. And it is from Unearthly Cosmetics, and it is a pair of her falsies. This is in the style Dreamlike. These falsies, they remind me so much of the Primark lashes in collaboration with Sosu, the London lashes that I love so much, that are pretty natural. These are better though, because these are, the band of these is a little bit more sturdy. They still give me a natural. They're not natural. You can see I have falsies on, but I don't care. They are nice and flared. They are still open. They are soft and fun and flirty. No. I got these SPR. I got one pair SPR and I need more. And she is based in the USA, so I am going to have to pay VAT and shipping and all that. But I don't care, because I need more of these. Honestly, they are just that good. Let's stay in Unearthly, because I have one other thing from Unearthly here. And I just picked this color because I love this color. And I actually use an Unearthly one on my eyes again today. I use the shade C. This is the formula that I love with a passion. I have used it a few times now, and this is so extremely soft and creamy that for me it literally glides on, and it sets and it stays put all freaking day. The shade that I grabbed is the shade Jam. This is such a cool color. I use this in the multiple looks with Nomad, with the latest Nomad palette. It's just such a pretty color. I can use it in my waterline. I can use it as a liner. I love that formula a lot. Yes. Next I am going to go to, let's go next to this, which is also from Makeup Revolution, which is also from the Super Dewy, but this is their liquid bronzer. This is the shade medium 10, and I have it on today. This is by far my favorite cream liquid style bronzer. Yeah. Today I tried it with a sponge and that works also very well. I can use it with a brush, I can use it with a sponge, and what do? I just put on the back of my hand and then pick it up like that. I think you can also put it directly on your face and then blend it out. That's the formula for this. It's not usually how I work with stuff like this, but I kind of want to try it like that as well. But it's just such a... It's so stunning. It's so extremely easy to use. Is it suitable for tan? I don't know. Maybe it's very subtle then. I think that you can build it up to be true to color. And it does set on its own. But honestly, I actually think that for tan, maybe it's too light. I don't know. But for me, medium tan, as I said, I'm a light to light medium. I really like it. The next one is... This is a palette. I have no idea how often I will use this, but this is a palette that when I saw this, I was like, I need that palette. I need it. Fortunately, my friend Debbie was sweet enough to help me get it. She actually sent it to me for my birthday. I don't know. I think it launched here. I think I saw it on Sephora Friends. I don't know. But honest to God, I need this in my life. And it's from Too Faced. It's the Made Your Love palette. If you want to unsubscribe, fine. But you're missing out, I tell you. So, first off, I really, really like this packaging. I like how it feels. Yeah, it makes me truly want to get more of these. Because they're just so nice to hold and to touch. I don't know, to touch. Then we have, you know, the Camo Print. The fun fact is that when I met my husband, I was in the Navy and he was a Marine. And the Dutch Marines have actually the same outfits as the American ones have. Or the American Army with the splotches instead of the, I don't know, stripy things. Anyway, this is their camo as well. When I tried this, and I actually tried this I tried it off camera. I was like, well, it's probably not that interesting, not that it's probably lackluster. I was kind of mistaken, because this shade here, it was very, very nice and pigmented. So I was very, very pleasantly surprised by that. And yeah, the look that I did, again, it was off camera. It was very pretty. Also, this pink here, this shade also still shows up for me. I was actually very, very pleasantly surprised by the quality of the eyeshadows, because honestly, I had thought that it would be very, very lackluster and blah and really not worth it. Well, for me, it's definitely worth it. And I will fight you for the palette. Just saying. Next, I am going to go to Kaleidos again. And this palette, it blew me away so much. So yeah, I think it's called cold brew. Is this the cold brew? Yeah, I think so. And I think the other one is called Black Jasmin. This one, if you want an everyday quick and easy palette, yeah, it truly reminds me of basically how I drink my coffee, which is kind of in between this. It is such a stunning neutral color story for me as well. I love warm tone neutrals. I also love cool neutrals. But this, it's not my perfect neutral, because my perfect neutral has more green in it. It's just because I am green. But this is just something that I enjoy using so much. I haven't been able to use it often right now because I am trying out so many different things. But it's just such a quick and easy, stunning palette, and the way that it looks, it's just a joy to use. So if you love neutrals, or if you just want to have a palette so you can have a small neutral palette in your collection, this is definitely worth it. I'm so extremely happy that I bought the entire collection. The next thing that I'm going to mention from Kaleidos is the other blush that I still have left, and this is the shade Joyride. This color, how am I going to describe this color? This color, it's almost like a warmer mid-tone crease color or something. Yeah, if I hold it like that, I think you can kind of see the color that it has. It is a little bit more, it's a brown, kinda. It's a little bit, it's not really an orangey brown. Is it a camel? Maybe it's a little bit lighter. I don't know. I cannot explain the color, but it is so extremely stunning. And this is my favorite color of blush. I love to use this so extremely much. I have been sad that I couldn't use it in a few days because I was trying other things, and I actually don't have any powder products on my face today except a tiny bit of under eye setting powder. But this is such a stunning color. I used the blushes in the video, the multiple looks video with the Natasha Denona palette. If you go into that description box, you can see per look the shade of blush that I use. Maybe that's helpful. It's stunning. I have two things left that I'm going to mention. And this one is, yeah, it should theoretically not be in this video because I just got done filming with this, but I feel like it needs to be in the video anyway. And it is an eyeshadow palette, and it is from Fantasy Cosmetica, and it's the Druid Palette. When I got it in, when I saw the color story, I was like, I need to do more than one look, so that's why I did 3. And in that video I also do comparisons. So here's the color story. Yes, let me kind of show you some of the flips that it has. It's so stunning. Now you see that my green is a little bit busted. That's because the palette fell. Hence the fact that I know that this is such a good shadow represser. It fell. So yeah, there is that, unfortunately. It was so extreme. It's so pigmented, but so extremely easy to work with. I was so impressed. Also, these shades, these shimmers, they did not crease on me at all. And I tried it with the jelly primer and without a jelly primer. It did not make a lot of difference. Well, it did not make any difference at all. The shadows were maybe a little bit more foiled because you can... Yeah, that's just what also the jelly primer does, but it wasn't by much, and the shadows did not crease for me at all. So it's currently sold out. She is having a restock. It is open for pre-order, but I think that I don't think that she expected the hit that this would be, because it's just a stunning palette, and I cannot wait to see what else she comes out with. This is a brand that I know just based on the very first palette. It's a brand that I want to have the next palette from. And I'm already excited for it. And then the last thing that I have here, the last eyeshadow palette, I don't think you need to guess. But if you want to guess, pause the video. Leave your guess down below, which you think is my most absolute favorite that I cannot live without. I will fight you for. I will bite you. If you want to take this away from me, leave your guesses down below. If you guess correctly, you win absolutely nothing, except the joy of having guessed correctly and knowing me so well. You know, the last thing in this video, there can only be one. Yes, it is the Paradise Island palette from Nomad Cosmetics. When I opened up the package that it came in, which was, by the way, completely sustainable, there was no plastic inside, just saying. But when I opened it up, I was immediately so happy, because this, it just does something to me that makes me just almost, it pulls me into a vacation mood, which is weird. But then again, I never said I was normal. And then you get the color story. Here's the color story. And the performance. Oh, it was so nice. I did an eye swatch video with this. I did 6 looks with this. Go watch them if you want to see it in action and if you want to hear more of my opinion. But also, basically, I used almost the entire top row as blushes and highlighters or blush toppers as well. I love that you can go monochromatic with this. I actually went row by row, like that, largely that is. And you can just do so many fun looks with this. The quality was so good. Yeah, so it can only be that for today. Yeah, it was a long one, wasn't it? That's what you get when you try out a lot of things and you have a lot of opinions. If you like this type of video, my playlist will be on the end screen, and in the description box will be all the products, and a bunch of videos will be linked there as well. So if you want to know any information, look there first. Yes, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. I'm going to wish you a fantastic day, a fabulous evening. May your foundation always match your neck, and I will see you extremely soon for my next one, because I'm uploading heaps lately. Yes, bye guys.